Hey guys, this is Kevin from Team Resonance. Since some of you guys are asking for it, this is my Love Like Sunshine deck profile. I've been playtesting it more, so it's the same deck I've played before, but I'll give you the reasons why I run each card, the effect, and why they're good, or why I'm just running it. To say it now, I don't think the set is like that strong of a set. Definitely has decent modern tools in Weiss Schwarz, like using like Ozza effect and level 1 plus combos and non-interactive level 3, but still lacking in many things. You can consider it a top set in terms of like being an A tier or like an A plus tier deck. Well, start with the cards. So, run 4, the Johanne runner, very standard. If you don't know the effects, I'll say them now. At the start of one's attack phase, mill top card of your deck. If it is a music character, it can move anywhere in the front row, and on attack, you can give a music character, plus 500. I'm pretty sure it can give 500 to itself too, so it can become like a standard attack power milled runner in terms of 2/5. You run runners because they give you pluses in the early game. More pluses, the better. They're very free. Run 4, no reason not to. You want to open up with this card every game, either first. You only want this card first turn. No reason not to. And the plus 500 can become useful in certain matchups. They're not really. 500 power can be forced into counter range, or just something to run over another level 0. In terms of like if your matching power is 2k, you can turn this into 2/5, kill it. Next, 3 Rico Brainstormers. Standard, pay 1, tap 2. Pay 1, rest 2 characters, mill 4 cards, every climax hit, salvage. Tier, plus Brainstormer. No reason not to run these, because this is the only plus Brainstormer in the set, so you should run it. It's also red. Red and yellow are your main colors. This, by the way, the deck is tricolors, use all 3. Second effect, when another character gets reversed, you can pump a character 500 power for the turn. Works in conjunction with your level 1, because your level 1 combo is using the bomb, the Chica bomb, so you could technically pump twice, and then that will give you 1k, and you could probably run something else over. If you have 2 in the back row, you can give 1k for every reverse. Makes it slightly stronger. Does come up sometimes in matchups where your opponent either has weak level 0, like relatively strong 0s, or low powered level 1s. You can just run them over, and if they're forced to counter, you get a free 2 for 1 because the bomb's going to kill it already, and they murder another card, so that you don't get a free plus off of it. Next, 3 of the 0/0 Dia on play, reveal top. If it's a music character, add to hand ditch 1. And when this card is sent to waiting room, pay 1, clock 1, draw 1. It is, in my opinion, inferior to the one in Fate, which has the same effect, except it is on play, pay 1, clock 1, draw 1. I don't like the on death one because you can very easily they can just stock bomb it, because very often people run stock and clock bombs at 1k power, which is what this is, so hopefully you get the effect off. If not, it's just used as a hand fixer. This is how you can push the level 1 before your opponent if their set doesn't have a Riki or anything else, or exactly the same card. Your opponent's using it, and it's also easy blue splash. Next, this 0/0 Yo is a level 0 suicide or bomb, whatever you want to call it. Use it to kill anything that's big, because you're going to use your runners. You're going to summon your runners, and then use this to kill whatever else. If your opponent doesn't play a runner and they play oversizes, this will be used to kill them. Also, second effect of when it gets sent to the waiting, you can pay 2 salvage. This very much helps if you're like pushing 2 lanes. In terms of the early game, you'll push 2 lanes. And let's say you trigger class on the first one. Well, you're suiciding this one into another card anyways. You can just pay 2 salvage, and then you can pay out the stock easily. So it's a stock out, it's red, and it kills stuff that you need in the 0 game. At this point, you already have like your main cards, you're just running utility to help you flush out the rest of your 0s. Next is this 00 Dia. It's Gold 500, and well, Gold 500 music, so the whole tech, and technically anti-brainstorm, not really. When your opponent uses the brainstorm ability, if they hit a climax, then you can draw one, ditch one. Most decks, most people will always use a brainstorm every turn, very often, so as long as they hit once, you can draw one, ditch one, so it's just a free hand fix. Only really bad when you like draw a climax, then you would have cancelled, but you don't really play around. You can just not use the effect at that point if you think you'll draw a climax. So run 3. Helps with blue. Not much else. This is like your main back row with these two, because you'd rather not have double reverse. You'd rather have one like global and reverse is fine. Still use it. The 500 power does make some difference in certain cards in the deck, but mostly there for, you can get free hand fixes also, especially if you have like one card in deck, you know it's not a climax, you draw. They brainstorm, they get to draw one, ditch one, and then you just refresh. So then they can't just get a guaranteed 1 damage in now. And I run 1 of this Mari, which is 0/0. On play, draw one, ditch one. It's just a 1 of. Very much just a flex card. I use it, sometimes you sack, you draw the stock soul off the top, and so that's about it. Or use it to play over. You can salvage this level 3 Yo, and then play over it again, keep salvaging it until you draw your gate. If you don't have the other card in the deck that I'm running, the 3/2 Dia that I'm running. If not, you just hope you draw into the gate, because there's no other way at level 3. Because either you're going to clock and draw and then you use one of these, or you just don't play the Yo and just use secondary level 3s and just heal. So, for zeros is 4, 7, 10, 10, 13, 16, 17 zeros. A bit more than what the average I'd run. Normally I'd run 16 zeros, so 1 more than the average just because I'm running the 1 tech card. About it, you can definitely run like the anti-runner and stuff if you want to be a more anti-meta kind of level 0. I tend to just stick with more meta stuff. Playing the standard, like you run runners, your plus brainstormers, utility card, and then you just fill out with suiciders and utilities to just finish your 0 game. Next, for level 1, run 4 Chica. Very standard if you're running this build. If you want to play the stock soul. If not, you'd be playing the shot trigger. So this card, slightly overstated because normal vanilla bombs are 3/5, but because it's only a bomb if all your characters are music, yeah, not exactly the hardest thing to accomplish considering the whole deck is music. Also has the climax combos with this stock soul. When this reverses an opponent's character and this climax is in play, you get to salvage a music character. So it's your main plus combo. It's not like the best, but it's also not like the worst card to, I mean, it's a plus, so like that's the main reason you use it. Hopefully you hit level 1 first, and you get to farm zeros, and then hit the crash their combo into your level 1. This, you get cards. The main problem with this is if your opponent has something like off time Makoto, you don't know the effect of that card is on the opponent's turn, 1 level plus 500 in front. So anything with plus level, so like SAO if they play Yuki, which they should be, this card doesn't do anything because it can't run over Yuki. Or it can, Yuki ties in power with this card, but they have a backup, then you just lose and you get no pluses. So make sure you know if your opponent runs plus level backups, and you're gonna have to rely on this, but pretty much this is the only way you can get extra cards in your hand. The only other way is if you sack your brainstorms, but I don't know, you should be betting on hitting your brainstorms all the time. So 4 because your main plus combo, so no reason not to run 4. Next is 4 of this Ruby, probably the best card in the deck because of such a strong effect. Has the Azusa effect. If you don't know Azusa effect, or Akatsuki effect, whatever you want to call it, is on play, you ditch a card, look up to 4, and add 1 music. Because this is like very much just the untrait restricted one, being music, which means you can grab any card, so you can use any color anyways. Having a free discard outlet that also mills is a really strong effect, because with an effect like this, you can very easily refresh your deck every turn post-refresh, first refresh, and even though it's like 4K power, it's not, I mean, it's bad in terms of killing characters, but the effect in itself is so strong, because milling and just hand fixing, and just having that much more deck control than a lot of other sets, like more modern sets are having this effect, so it's not as good anymore, or it's still probably one of the best effects in the game, but against more top tier decks they have better advantage engines, better cards to work with for these effects, so this one is not as good, kind of thing. But in context of the set, this is probably the best card. Grabs everything you need, helps you mill. So you'd definitely be running 4. Has another class combo, I think, with a wind trigger. You like pay 1, send this to waiting room, ditch 1, then you summon like the 2/2 ruby from your hand. Not really worth running unless you're playing like some ruby waifu deck. But otherwise, you'd run 4 of this card for sure. Pretty much every build, if you're playing like a meta sunshine build, 4 of this card, no matter what, or at least 3, because just the effect in itself is so strong. It helps when you're in bad situations to just remill your deck and reset the game for you. So, let's get card next. This 1/1 Yo. If you have 3 or more other music, it gains plus 2k, so 1175, and has hand encore. This card is not that great, because it does not really work in conjunction with bombs. Because you're suiciding your lanes, this will not have the plus 2k effect. But when on the off chance you're just playing these, and this, it's fine. 1175 with the global, still 8k. If you're crashing these, then 8.5. Can still get over most stuff. It's not that great of a card, but you have to run filler level 1s because you can't just fill it with these. You need other stuff to you need to kill something besides using this card. Next is this 1/1 Chica promo. It's facing a cost 0, so it gains plus 3/5 on 1 level. In this kind of metagame where 1/0s or cost 0s in general are very prevalent, this card is really strong because it stops most. It would stop most on reverse or just like high power cards that are costless. Because most cost characters will be reaching like 7.5 with literally 1 global back row. With a 1k1 they can't kill if they're reaching 7.5 power. So this would be like 9k level 2, so they can't side. So you get they crash, you get a free lane, lets you play like this in an empty lane then. Because this card's going to get free farmed anyways and die. So the more direct attacks you can get with this, the better. So run 1. I only own 1. So this card you just use. If your opponent's running 1/1s like Soundless Voice, then this card is very dead, and there'd be no point running it. But because a lot of decks are very costless heavy, this card is very useful to kill a lot of things. Next, finish up the level 1s with this 1/0 Yo. 1055 can't side. When this card attacks, you have 2 or more Chica, 2 or more characters with Chica or Rico in its name, and gains plus 2k. Very easy because you're running this, and your back row. Your Brainstormer is Rico. 1075 is very much just filler level 1. You can run whatever you want. You can run 1065 Hanamaru. I picked this because it's red. And 7.5 attack is strong. With the global Dia, it's 8k. Forces counters. If they have to use a counter, it's fine. It's not the best card, but it's not the worst because I'd rather have something that can kill stuff. So that's level 1. Run 4, 8, 10, 11, 12 level 1s. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Next, level 2. Run 1 copy of this Kanon. It is 2k in front to level 3s or higher. And tap 2, draw 1, ditch 1. So, use this. Pump your level 3s, pump your advanced summon Hanamaru so it doesn't die instantly. And tap 2, draw 1, ditch 1 is useful. Use it at level 3. Hopefully, you're basically using these like draw effects, like these 2, and then the 3/2 Dia. If you don't have stock for the 3/2 Dia, you don't play it. But use these 2 to help you try to draw your gate. If you didn't draw it earlier, because if you don't have the gate, then the Yo becomes very lackluster level 3. It's just an on-play salvage and doesn't do anything. Next, I run 1 copy of this 2/2 Ruby. Most people probably want to run this. I can see why. It's not exactly the best card, but it's a 2/2, 500 for every other. And at the start of opponent's attack phase, both players' attack phase, if this ruby's in the waiting room, it gains 1k and can't be targeted by opponent's card effects. So it's technically, and also if you play this card when it's a full field, you get to the stock one. So it's a 2/1, 9/5, 2-soul beater, which is very, not amazing, but with hexproof, but it's very serviceable. 2/1 2-soul is strong. You use it, it does become somewhat relevant in like certain matchups where people are running like anti-damage, and you can side with the other two characters, and then you can, if you're able to side over like their powers, then you can still front with a 2-soul beater. Then very worth, so you don't have to, so you can very easily play around more anti-damage. The only problem is it's not 9/5 level 2 is fine, because it's pretty much a 2/1. In fact, if this was actually just a full 2/2, this card would not be worth running. But because it's a 2/1 you can restock, helps you pay out stock, and just stock something, let's stock another 0. Probably another yellow, so then you can use stock with red still. So, what happens if you like trigger on your first attack, the next turn you could brainstorm, and then play this. Hopefully, assuming you're playing full field, you stock another card. So then you pretty much, you only spent 2 stock that turn, but you still paid out the 3 stock that you needed to. Serviceable card. You can definitely not run this. I run it because 1 of SP, and it does come in handy when you want to pay out stock, and you can't play your advanced summon because you're too far into refresh. Next, 1 copy of the Chica anti-level 3. You just run it because anti-level 3, the effect is when it attacks, the opponent's card is level 3 or higher, it gains plus 6k. It also, on play, has the effect reveal top. If it is level 0, climax or trigger 0, you put in stock. So it's become a 2/0 basically. Up to 2/0, then the card is actually like worth using. Otherwise, it's like you can use it to kill weak level 3s. Certain cards you can just kill easily with they just being 13k, because some advanced ones aren't that strong. Against things like TP Rin or like Shinobu or just anything that's like already only like a bit under like 500 power, then this card pretty much loses all counters, but you still have to run it just because on the off chance they run like weaker level 3s, you just use it to kill it. Next, 1 of this. I run this TD backup. Purely run it because it's an SP version. If you're making the better deck, you'd be playing the 2/1 Mari backup, which I think is 2/1 3k. Has like effect when you play it, you can draw 1, ditch 1. Has a more relevant effect than this, because this is when you use the backup, you reveal top. If it's a music character, it gets another plus 1k. So it's a 3/5 backup. But if it does whiff, then you're betting on the extra 1k. Your character can just die, so it's not really that worth. It's not worth running this card. I run it because it looks nice, and I'm just using it as a 2/1 counter anyways. I play it just because 2/1 2/5 is fine. You'd rather run 2/1 2/1 3k counter, but I'm too lazy to switch out the SP version of this counter. So that's my level 2. Run 4. You don't run many level 2s in general. It's not really much of a point running level 2s in this game unless the level 2s are strong enough and you're running something else like climax combos. Like when you're playing in English, you're playing Hoguro and Kontai. That's when you'd be running slightly more level 2. Not even that. They don't even run that many level 2. They just run Hoguro and like 1 counter. But yeah, if you're playing like unrestricted, or before the restriction, Monogatari, then yeah, you'd run more 2/2s. You'd be running 2/2s, but otherwise most decks don't even run that many level 2s. Because you mostly focus on level 3 game, so level 3s is basically level 2 play also. 32 Hanamaru. If you have 2 or less climax and waiting room, -1 level in hand. On play heal. Combos with shot don't run, so irrelevant, but the effect is when you play the shot trigger, pick a music character in your waiting room, put into your stock, and this gains plus 3k till the end of your opponent's turn. So it's relatively strong when you play the shot trigger, but because I value the hand from using a stock soul from the level 1 Chica combo, I don't play the shot trigger. Both builds are viable, up to you which one you prefer. If you want to play a more stock intensive game, then you'd be running this. Basically, you do this, and then you'd sit on it. But with this card, you pretty much never want to play this unless you're playing on a climax, or if you have the 2/1 Kanan in the back row. If you don't have the Kanan in the back row, this card is just going to die. Especially if you only have the global that's only 10k. This card will definitely die to most cards. So if you're even playing this, you just play it because it's 2-soul beater, it heals. So you can pretty much, you can prolong a little game too for longer to set up. And if it does, if your opponent can't kill this card and it lives an extra turn, even better. Because more often than not, this card doesn't live unless you have this in the back row. And at that point, you probably need a counter still, or if they mess up and they crash another lane, you kill any other lanes first, you can pump 500 with the Brainstormer. Yeah, it's not that great of a card. Sunshine definitely needs a better advanced summon in the next set for the EB. Hopefully you get something better than just this, because this is pretty lackluster. Oh, next is this 3-2 die from the TD on play. You can look up to 3, add 1, and when you play Climax, you gain 1/5 for the turn. Second effect doesn't matter too much. It does come in handy when you can run over stuff, but mostly it's used for a look up to 3 effect. This, you basically, if you don't have the gate, I would salvage this card first after using the Yo, or if you have the stock, you could do Yo into Yo, then you salvage this and then look up to 3 and add 1. Hopefully you draw it after clocking and drawing. Hopefully you can draw a gate at that point. If not, you have to play more of the zeros or play this. Like, you don't want to go through all those effects. Hopefully you can draw the gate. At one point, you normally would just hold on to the gate if you draw it at level 2. At that point, you'd hold on to it. You don't want ditching it because then you just can't get through anything. Next, 1 copy of this 3-2 Ruby. On play, it has, when your opponent cancels the damage from this card, you can burn 1. The damage can also be cancelled. Use it to push damage, or if your opponent's at 3-6, you definitely will play this to burn 1. And if you have the Yo combo, even better. Also has the effect of you can pay 2, give this card and another character +1 soul. And when you play Climax, it gains 1/5 for the turn. That doesn't matter too much. The pay 2 part is relevant, because if you're trying to side for 1, because if you play Climax and you're like playing the Yo, you can definitely pump soul for both of them and then side for 1 against level 3s. And then hopefully your empty lane can also do something, your next lane can also do something. But yeah, if your opponent's at 3-6, then you can definitely do that. You have the Yo combo, play gate, and they're like definitely not going to, the chance of them living is very low. If they do, I don't know how, they have like 4 Climax stacked at the top, but sure. So run 1 of. A lot of the 1-ofs, because the level 3s are all salvageable by the Yo, so as long as you can get them to the waiting room, or if they're in your stock, you can just pay them out and salvage it. Next, 3-2 Yohane. On play, you can bounce an opponent's character. I think it's just bounce. I don't know if there's a restriction, but you can bounce and it gains +2k. And then on attack, you can pay 1, ditch 1. All your characters gain +501 souls, so it's the commanding strength, also a commanding strength effect. This does come in handy. The first effect is very useful in terms of bouncing, because if your opponent's playing like restricted, let's say they're playing like a rest counter, like say Otsumatsu, two-level animals, or red blue CG, they all have rest counters that have some restriction. And more often than not, it's like a full field or like certain colors. Use this, and now they can't rest counter you, because you bounced and then they lost their restriction. I was assuming they don't have hexproof. It also works somewhat against anti-damage if you can open up more lanes, and then you use this effect to get plus soul, and then they can't anti-damage you. So stuff like that, you gotta use this effect, because the effect is very strong, and you can use it more in terms of, based on the matchup. You just want to know when to use those cards. So, and then here comes the main level 3, your finisher, your healer. Or, yeah, your main finisher, healer. So, on play, you can salvage your music. Not that bad. Then has a second effect, combos with the gate. On attack, you pay 1, ditch a music, so you can't ditch climaxes. So either you salvage cards, so either using the Yo to salvage more Yos to get your full combo, or if you had kept these cards in your hand, then you're using these to salvage either more level 3 pieces, or you're just salvaging cards to ditch. More often than not, you salvage these, and then hopefully on the next turn you can do something. So yeah, on attack, pay 1, ditch 1, you heal 1, and then you burn 1 to your opponent. This combo is good. It's not like the best finisher, but it definitely is strong. Like burn 1, swing 3, burn 1, swing 3, burn 1, swing 3, while healing yourself, and the fact that you already salvaged for this combo makes it pretty free. So you're pretty much gonna use it when your opponent's at like 3-0, like 3-1. At 3-1, if you can, because more often than not they'll eat the burns. You just gotta hope you win like a coin flip on them eating a 3, and at that point you can win. Or even if not, because you heal back down to 3-0 probably, then you're probably not gonna die next turn. If you have extra stock, then you can definitely play these level 3s. Normally after this turn, if you had the stock, you'd play this level 3 over this. Or if you don't have a climax, and this card is probably better, because then you can you just pump your characters plus 1 soul. That's if you have the stock to do all that. More often than not, you probably go in level 3 with 7 stock. Then at that point, you have like 1 by the end of the turn, which means you would you look at your stock when you do this combo. So you either salvage more level 0s or like cost 0s to play the next turn if you don't kill them, or if you do have extra stock and you choose level 3 of your thing. That will help you in your next situation based on what you think will happen in the turn. So this card is probably the best finisher in the deck. I don't like the con on restander because I don't like on reverse too much, because it can very easily be countered, sack countered, or just straight anti-damage. At least with this, your bird 1 goes through beforehand. And for climax is 4 gate, 4 stock soul. Very standard if you're running that. So I'll go through how I play the deck in terms of like a normal duel, like if you're not playing around matchups. So at level 0, the game plan is you hope you draw this. Hope you draw your runner. So you're pretty much just going to send your runner, and hopefully you draw a Brainstormer. If you don't draw a Brainstormer, it's very bad, because you pretty much do have to brainstorm very often in this deck to hopefully get extra cards back, because your cards are dying pretty much every turn. At level 0, you want to open up runner if possible, so you can always have a free plus. Hopefully you don't mill a climax. Then you'll be using this Dia to helps you push more damage, and then if they kill it and they don't have a stock bomb or anything, you can just clock yourself, draw 1. Hopefully push the level 1 first. Like the 0 game is like very standard. The field you want is like something like this by the end. If you're going to level 1, you can definitely have a field like this. If you're pushing your opponent to level 1 first, you want a field more like this. So the only way they'll get 2 pluses off their characters is if they have a full field, if their hand was developed, like they naturally sculpted a hand that easily, where they get all 3 of their on reverse combo. If you know they're going for something like that, you'd rather have something like this going in level 1, and you just like bombed 1 or 2 of their lanes instead, so you don't have to deal with them getting free pluses off you that easily. More often you're not going to hit level 1 first. By level 1, you feel it's probably something like this, hopefully, or you just have like these 2. It doesn't matter too much, because at that point, you probably can do something like this. You're going to play the stock soul. Like you're mulliganing for these cards for your combo, but obviously you don't ditch your 0s because you're going to need them. You ditch 0s only if you have too many of something that you don't need. So you can do this. Stock soul, you're going to plus, hopefully hit level 1 first, and you plus like 1 or 2 off these. If you plus 0, if your opponent's a runner, then you probably don't want to level this. You probably don't want to use this combo if the only card in the field is a runner. At that point, if you know they're running on reverse and you drew into this, you either play one of these and like something else, like these 2 or something, to hopefully deny an on reverse, more on reverses than just like playing bombs. Because you could definitely, you just want to play this after, because you want to play and get the pluses off this for sure. So after this turn, hopefully you canceled a bit, maybe once or twice, or to the point where you didn't eat enough damage at level 2. Even at level 2, like after the bomb turn, then you're in a good position, because assuming you salvage like rubies, from there you use these, mill your deck to refresh, because you very often want to refresh at like 1.5, 1.6. You want to refresh before level 2. If you refresh after level 1, if you're refreshing at like level 2 or something, then you're much worse position now, because you're much closer to dying. When you're refreshing at like 1.6, you have more chances to cancel and staying at level 2 longer. Whereas if you refresh afterwards, it takes less damage to level you up, obviously. And then, pretty much, you're just playing this. You play climaxes whenever you can, because you want to push damage. Don't go like, you don't want to have like no hand. Like, you can definitely do that in this deck, having very little hand. because the Yo salvages for yourself. So as long as you have like 4 cards in hand, then start level 3 or like 3. If you start 2 and you draw and you clock, you have 4. You can definitely do the combo. So I'm pretty sure. If you play 3, you salvage 3 back, play the climax. Yeah, you could definitely still, but then you're playing with like fire and having like no hand. And having no hand sucks, because you very often just like run into a situation where you like draw climaxes. If you do end up just drawing climaxes, then you have no characters to play, and that sucks. So level 2, at this point you probably don't need this card. You would definitely replace it. If you're playing level 3s, you would definitely replace it with this, because this effect is way more useful for tap 2, draw 1, ditch 1. And then you would be playing you'd play this if they play level 3 that you can kill with this card. Otherwise, you don't play this. It's not worth playing like at all into the field, because it's going to be a 2-1 that's a liability. Whereas this can be played as long as this is in the waiting room. As long as you're playing this as a full field. As a 2-1, this card is fine. As a 2-2, it's not really worth. So you always pretty much want to play this as a full field, or you're just playing this to pay out stock. That's like the main reason I use it, to pay out stock. And just use that, and hopefully it sits as a 2-soul beater, but more often it'll die afterwards. So if you did refresh at like 1-5, 1-6 after your turn, and the opponent hits you to like 2-2, you would definitely play these if possible. Like you'd clock and you draw, because you know if you're gonna heal off the damage anyways, then this card is very good. You just sit on these, or you sit on one. Very unlikely you'll play both. Unless you have like the stock to play all of these, which can happen. Doesn't happen too often because you're brainstorming and stuff, and then because you still want stock for level 3, so you play these. You sit on them. Hopefully, if not, you play one. Hopefully, it gets like some value because you healed you. Hopefully, you stay at level 2 again. You get another turn set at level 3, or just crash field and push more damage before your opponent decides to like try to kill you with their combo. Otherwise, level 3. You would, if you're pushed like 3-3, 3-4, you definitely triple Yo just to heal. You heal and push damage against them. That's very much it. You're just going to use this, push damage, or end the game, heal you back down. They're at 3-6, you definitely play like some combination of this with the combo with this, using the effect. Or you just use the effect and just play like some 0 or push up a brainstormer. You're just going to use this. Like if they're very low, like 3-5, 3-6, and it's very easy to kill them with these cards because burn 1s, cancel burn 1, and like you're just healing back down damage too. It's at that point in the game it's very easy to kill them. These cards are more situational and used when this is used when you didn't draw your gate, so you salvage this and play this. And this card is used for certain matchups. Also usable when you don't have any hand or any stock, the game just went terribly, and you're just going to push damage. And you're just going to pay 1, ditch 1, just push more damage with this. Also a viable strat. If you know your opponent's like out or very low, you just start swinging big numbers. Hopefully they eat something. Otherwise, all you really do in the deck is you pretty much, if you like triple cancel, like after you had like a good refresh triple cancel, you're going to play like brainstorm, you're going to like triple ruby and refresh your deck again. Or you can risk it and not like mill too much and just hopefully you cancel again. At that point, the game just becomes a compression game. If you get like those turns where you just like cancel like crazy, then you just start building more stock. You can definitely just like, because the deck has, the more stock you have, the more easily you can play these level 3s and use all their effects. Because more often I can't use most of these effects because you're gonna run out of stock at one point. Yeah, that's like the main thing you'd play in this deck. Like the main way you'd play is you're just gonna standard. You play runners and like suicides level 0. You play your plus column level 1. If you canceled, you play rubies to refresh your deck at that point. If you didn't cancel, then you're gonna be sitting. You'll still play ruby to refresh at that point. Or yeah, you want to refresh it. Like you still want to refresh to get more chances to cancel, and then you'd be sitting on like this ruby instead. The deck isn't that good, or it's serviceable. It plays. It's not a deck I'd bring to a tournament kind of thing, but I definitely play it casually for fun because level 3 is fun to use, and Love Live Sunshine. It's Love Live, so I will play the set like I play my other Love Live decks. For what the set's lacking, it definitely needs a... I definitely think it needs a better non-climax combo finisher. Or, not the main thing. The main thing it needs is a better advanced summon. Its transition game from 1 to 2 is very lackluster. And a lot of decks have good advanced summons nowadays, so like, they can definitely take control of the game and just like, destroy you from there. If the set got better advanced summon and like, maybe a better plus combo. If it got better advanced, better plus combo, it could definitely rise in. If it got the 3 things, a better plus combo, a better advanced summon, and a better CX-less finisher, or just a better CX combo finisher, then it would definitely push the deck into like A tier. But that's like a lot of sets. A lot of sets are missing. I mean, this deck does have a lot of modern day tools, which is why it can play. If you want to play the deck, I definitely recommend trying out both builds. If you like playing Stock Souls, playing Stock Souls your level 1 plus combo, or just playing Shot Triggers to build stuff. So that's the main thing about my deck. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the count for level 3s. 2, 3, 4. Wait. I run 4 Yo, 2 Hanamaru. So 4, 6, 1 Ruby. I think it's like 10 level 3s. This is about right. If I remember correctly. There's 4 Yo, 2 Hanamaru. There's 6, 1 Ruby, 1 Dia, 1 Yohane. Yeah, I run 10. Or 9 level 3s. I don't know how to count. But yeah. You can definitely, like, the deck in itself has a lot of flex spots. You don't have to run this. You don't have to play blue if you don't want to. You could definitely take out the 2/2 Ruby. These are cards, and the 0/0 Mari. These are all cards I can just flexed out. The cards I wouldn't take out are Runners, the Brainstormer, level 1 combo, or no, you can't take a level 1 combo. You're not playing the combo, obviously. 4 Ruby, 4 Yo. Like, those cards are like, you can't really take out because those are like the main reason you'd be playing the deck. You can definitely take out like a lot of these these filler level ones are all very easily taken out. So, up to you. You just like, you fit in the cards you think that work better with your deck. I play the deck like I play a lot of my other decks. Max out on Oz's effects, possible, level 1 plus calling max out. Max on your finisher, most likely. Play some sort of advanced summon. Like, very often I stick to a very standard deck build that just sits on like certain cards, and you use them to just play an advantage game, hopefully, and then you just bet on like your cancels. Hopefully, like, you have to bet on cancels at that point to win. It's very unlikely that this deck will win without canceling because your level 1 comes a bomb. You leave very often many open slots. More open slots means you're more open to damage in the early game, so you have to hope you cancel. If not, you'll just fall behind and lose. Or if they don't have a climax, or even if they don't have a climax, they're still pushing like 2 damage. If you get lucky and like you hit level 1 first and they have more on reverse targets for you, then the better. Because then you get to open up their slots when they crash into your bombs and you get more damage. And that'll put you ahead. Hopefully that happens. Otherwise, this is all by Sunshine deck profile. If you have any questions about the deck, why run certain cards, why run any, like, if you have any questions, I'll definitely answer them in the comments if you want to know. So, leave any feedback. You think I should run some other deck? I'm open to like any discussion about this deck. It's not the main deck I play, so anything is fine.